Hi, I'm Sue Resig, and I'm going to try something different today with my filming to help you hear me better because we're having microphone problems. So here we go. Here's one of my favorite meals. It's actually a survival dish that I make now probably twice a week. And I don't have a name for it. It's just a mashed potato base, and I add other vegetables to it and put it all together. It's my survival dinner is what it is. So I want to share it with you because it's so easy. I can put it on the stove. It's the original set it and forget it. I put it on the stove, I get it cooking, and then I can go take a coffee break and come back and dinner's ready or lunch is ready depending upon when I'm making it. So I actually have two different versions of this, and I make one version at least once a week. My main version, it's the main recipe, and it's potatoes, cabbage, and garlic. And you might be thinking, and now don't walk away if I said garbage, right? No, it's not garbage. Don't walk away if I said cabbage and you don't like cabbage. You need to understand that the cabbage is in here for a reason, and it's for those of us who do like cabbage, we're going to put more in. For those of you who don't like cabbage, you're going to put a little bit in because it adds an umami flavor. Now this is the new thing that we've been hearing about the last couple of years, about adding this savory flavor, this umami. And we don't have a way of adding umami to our food the way other people do, because they do it through the form of things like Parmesan cheese and soy sauce and stuff, of course, that we're not allowed to have. So the way we do it is by adding a little cabbage just for flavor. And I like cabbage, so I put more in. Those of you who like cabbage, put a little more in. Those of you who don't, promise me you'll take one leaf and chop it up and throw it in, because it's going to taste a lot better if you do. It just disappears. It just disappears. You don't even know it's in there, but it adds a nice richness to the potato mash that we're going to make. So I'm going to show you the two versions. I already made my basic version once this week, so today I'm going to make my advanced version just for some variety, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So this is what I'm going to see if I can do this camera thing. Hang on. Okay, I have this ready. This is how you would do the basic recipe. I like to put just enough potatoes in to cover the bottom of the pot. So if you don't want to make a big meal of this, use a smaller pot. This will make enough for me to do, 2 or 3 meals. Like I might have it for lunch and for dinner, or I'll have some for my husband, so we'll both be eating it. For those of you who are going to be making the basic recipe, remember you promised you're going to make the basic one first. So I cover it with potatoes. I'm adding 3 cloves of garlic to this, and then I'm going to top it with some cabbage. Now if you're not a cabbage fan, just give it a sprinkling, okay? Just give a little cabbage in there if you're not the big cabbage fan. If you are the cabbage fan like I am, then you're going to add more. You're going to kind of cover it. Just give it a little covering of cabbage. That was maybe a 1.5 inch slice off my head of cabbage. Nice fresh cabbage from the field this week. And then I'm going to throw my garlic cloves in there. I'll probably tuck those cloves down so they get near the moisture in the bottom, because I want to make sure that they get cooked being solid there. Okay, I've got my little garlic cloves sunk down in the bottom. Now this, if you're making the basic recipe, that's the basic recipe, okay? So here's options for other things that you can put in if you want to make the other variation of this basic recipe. Instead of having just the basic, you can add, things like we have celery root, we have celery, we have sweet potato, cauliflower, fennel, tomato, carrot, onion, sweet potato. What am I talking? It's squash. And then we also have green onions, parsley, chives, radish, horseradish, shallots. I'm probably going to save these until the end, and I'm going to pick 1 or 2 of these to put in, and then I will show you. You don't want to use them all, but I'm just showing you that there's a variety of vegetables you can add to your basic pot. All right, I've decided to go with celery root, which is this creamy piece. I just cut maybe a 1/2 inch slice off my huge celery root. So I sprinkled in some of that, a little butternut squash, and I'm going to add a 1/2 cup. Let's see if I'm tipping my cup. There we go. A 1/2 cup of the pot-ready soup to this. I already had my pot warming up before I put it in. So I've got that. I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'm going to wait just a minute until I can hear that the soup is starting to come to a simmer, and then I'm going to turn it down low and let it cook for about 45 to 50 minutes. And that's, for me, about a coffee break and time to clean up and things and come down. So we will come back in a little bit and see how dinner looks. See you in a bit. Hi there. Now look at it, it's all done. It actually took longer than I expected. I turned it down too low, and after an hour it wasn't cooked, so I had to turn it up a little bit and give it about another half an hour. But you can see the potatoes are nice and tender, the celery root is tender, the squash is nice and tender. So, oh, and of course the cabbages, because that cooks up very quickly. So now what I like to do is just mash it all together. And I did, before I set this up for you to see, I actually drained off a little bit of the extra soup that was in there, because the vegetables are so soft that sometimes they can end up being soggy if I leave the cooking liquid in there. So I just, you can see it wasn't a whole lot. I only put that little bit in the beginning, but I drained part of it off. And if it needs it, I can put it back in. If you have an immersion blender, you can use that, but I find it makes it a little too creamy. I like mine more like a mashed potato as opposed to a creamed potato, but that's your preference. If you like it really smooth, more like a puree, you could use a hand blender. So it's coming together nicely. And we'll just give it just a little bit more here. And not knowing if I would want to add some seasonings to it at the end, I have already prepared over here some chopped shallot, and I have the parsley all chopped and ready to go in too. I just wanted to do this first, get it mashed first. Oh, and look at what a pretty color it is. The squash gave it a nice color. I anticipate the squash making it a little bit sweeter, a little more colorful. The celery root just to give it a little more savoriness. And the cabbage, like I said, the cabbage is, you can't even tell it's in there. It just disappears, but again, it adds a nice umami flavor, making it a little more savory as well. Okay. I think that looks pretty nice. There we go. And you notice I left the skins on the potatoes. They just disappear in there too. No big deal having the skins. All right, let me try a bite and see what seasoning it needs. It's tasty. It really did everything I wanted it to do. It's got a nice flavor. You can taste the savoriness. The flavor that's most pronounced to me is the garlic, which I enjoy, and everything else just kind of blends together. That nothing stands out on its own. You don't taste just squash or potato or celery root or cabbage. You don't taste any of it. It just has a really nice flavor blend. And I am, for the fun of it, going to add just a little parsley. I think that'll be a nice flavor in there. And I'm going to try a little bite with the shallot and see if I want more shallot or not, because I just don't know. If I don't, I'm going to put the shallot in my salad. Doesn't need it, so the shallot's going in my salad. I like it. In fact, I'm not sure I even like the parsley on there. I might pick the parsley back off. I liked it better without. But that's just in the top. There you what. I'll do that. I'll put the parsley on the side, and it'll be my husband's serving. I'll get the stuff without the parsley. I liked it better plain. So there you go. I'm up here. There we go. Hi. It's all set. I hope you try it. You can see it really wasn't difficult. It's easy. And I'm all clean and ready to go. And I've got a nice lunch. And I've got dinner half cooked all too. Got my salad, and I already had my soup. I drank it from the mug. Thanks. Have a good time. Bye-bye.